What's up guys, welcome to AnimeKouhai, an extension of Anime Senpai PH channel. All pieces of information are derived from the light novel. In today's video, we will end chapter 2, volume 8 of the light novel, entitled The Invitees. This video is the 12th and the last part of chapter 2 in our Tensura spoiler video series. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, feel free to check out the links in the description below. If you want to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
He could hear shouts of, "Are you kidding me?" and "Who the hell is that girl?" among the rabble behind him, as well as commentary from a few people who must have seen Rimuru here last time.
Oh, no way. I never knew she was so cute.
Unbelievable. That's the face of a person who swatted down a lesser demon like a mosquito.
And she had the same name as that demon lord, huh?
You think it might actually be him?
What are you, stupid?
Yeah.
Sounds like more rumors would be spreading soon. Although, maybe Rimuru had less to worry about than he thought. Sharing a name didn't seem to arouse too much undue suspicion. Maybe the name Rimuru wasn't that uncommon after all. So Rimuru breezed into Fuse's office. The first thing Fuse did upon seeing Rimuru was bring a hand to his temple. Rimuru ignored it.
Hello, I'm back to pay a visit. Something up? Why the long face?
Well, things were pretty slow for a while, until this demon lord came out from nowhere.
Whoa, really? Sounds like bad news. You sure you should be chilling out in here?
I'm talking about the demon lord here in front of me. So what is it this time?
Oh, well, you better feed that demon lord some tea, shouldn't you? I think he'd enjoy a little bit of cake, too.
Cake? You think I can pull that kind of luxury out from under my hat? I swear. Why's a demon lord like you just gallivanting around without a care in the world?
Fuse poured out some tea as he complained. He was diligent like that. Rimuru thanked him and took the cup, sipping from it before they got down to business.
So I'm sorry about everything that happened, Sir Rimuru. I tried putting pressure on the Western Holy Church, but it didn't work too well, and then the Crusaders got deployed.
Nah, I doubt you could have done anything to stop them. There was this band called the 7 Days Clergy masterminding the whole thing.
What?
Yeah. That's probably why Hinata never listened to me when I tried pleading my case.
The 7 Days. That legion of great heroes, tasked with protecting humankind.
Apparently, yeah, they snared her, too, but all's well that ends well. We worked out all the misunderstandings, I think. But there was one casualty, unfortunately. A commander named Guard is missing in action.
Guard of Fire.
Fuse muttered with a frown.
He's one of the 10 great saints, the protectors of humankind. Quite gifted with a spear and flame-based spirit magic, albeit not as gifted as Shizu was.
Rimuru didn't know Guard personally, apart from how he was after the clergy got to him. Rimuru couldn't say anything about his personality, but apparently Guard was a well-known name, at least. Someone as well-connected as Fuse would certainly know Guard. Rimuru described Guard as missing, but killed, Rimuru supposes, was much more likely. Hopefully he's in a better place now. I felt bad for him. Moving on, Rimuru gave Fuse a recap of recent events, including the Walpurgis Council, since Rimuru knew Fuse was concerned about that. There were now 8 demon lords united under the name of the Octagram, and Rimuru covered all of that, along with his conflict with Hinata and the fall of 7 Days. Rimuru made sure, of course, to blur the true identity of Luminous. Rimuru had a reputation for blabbing when he shouldn't, but he wasn't dumb enough to let that vital a secret out.
I see. You know. No matter how much we tried to make contact with them, they always just flatly denied us. The church's Blumen branch was a non-starter, so I sent someone over to their headquarters, and they still said we couldn't meet with anyone at the level of minister or above. I had no idea the clergy was behind all this.
Yeah, Hinata said the same thing. The only thing uniting them, as she put it, was the god Luminous. Their faith, that was the real thing.
Humans are inherently weak, after all. They cling to the gods, and their strength.
Would you include yourself in that, Fuse?
No, not me. When my strength fails me, I'm prepared to call it a life, so to speak. I'd hope for a miracle, of course, but I can't pray to a god I've never even met before.
Sounded like Fuse leaned toward atheism. Of course, this was a world where a real-life monster with superhuman powers could get worshipped as a god by the locals. They, at least, you could meet up with and see for yourself. That must have made them seem more reliable. Even Luminous only offered protection to the people she knew, at first, and she didn't figure in Fuse's life at all. He just relied on himself instead, a little self-serving but certainly easier to come to grips with.
Yeah, well, I can certainly understand why people want to pray to a higher power. But in life, you get what you're dealt, you know? Anyway, regardless of what Luminous may or may not bless us with, the church and I are even now, and that's all I need.
Knowing Luminous personally taught Rimuru just how meaningless praying to her was, but not much point saying that. Sometimes prayer really can give a person strength. It wasn't for Rimuru to comment on. Fuse smiled.
Very true. It's a load off my shoulders as well.
Rimuru got the feeling Fuse was depressed about failing to stop the church after Rimuru asked him to put the screws to them a bit. Rimuru just appreciated Fuse looking out for him. They chatted for a while more over past events before Rimuru stood up, recalling something.
Anyway, I better get going soon, but I want you to take this.
Rimuru removed an envelope from his pocket and handed it to Fuse. It contained an invitation to the Founders Festival Rimuru was planning. They had gotten so caught up in conversation Rimuru had almost forgot about it. This was why he came here today, after all.
What's that?
Well, I'm gonna be holding my Demon Lord coronation soon, and I figured it'd be a good opportunity to advertise my town to the world. We're calling it the Founders Festival, and the way I picture it, it's gonna be a huge blast. We're sending invites to all the royalty and nobility in the region, and I'd love for you to attend, too.
Huh? Wait a minute, Sir Rimuru. What would inviting someone like me accomplish?
No, it's no big deal. I have an invite here for the King of Bloomend, too. Can you make sure he gets it?
Well, couldn't you give it to him directly, Maybe not.
Nah, I gave the Dwarven King and Archduke Errol their invites personally, but I don't have many contacts in the other nations.
Rimuru smiled.
I've met your king once, but I don't think a demon lord would be invited to his throne room, would he?
It's distressing enough for a demon lord to be in Bloomend at all.
Fuse snickered back.
But thank you for this. I'll be sure this reaches the king.
Rimuru's errand was now done, and he was about to depart but was stopped at the door.
Oh, right, I needed to mention that the Grand Master was concerned about you. Negotiating with the Western Holy Church was a huge headache for him, so I'll be sure to say you've worked things out.
Yuki was worried? A lot had happened since we last met. I was starting to miss him.
Aw yeah, I must have put a lot on his plate.
Oh, not really. The guild has no interest in making an enemy out of the church, after all. If you were able to settle your differences without a fight, we couldn't ask for anything more.
That was nice to hear, but I still felt like I owed the guild something.
I know, I think I'll invite Yuki, too. You think he'd mind?
Hard to say. Not that I can speak for him, but he is a busy man. I'm not sure if he can make the time for it or not.
Well, I can give him an escort to and from the event, so I'm sure he can attend at least one day, you know? If not, I can stop by to see him sometime soon. So give him this for me.
As Fuse watched, Rimuru wrote out a letter to him and included it in the envelope with the invites. Fuse winced at Rimuru a little as he accepted it.
Sir Rimuru, where did you get that paper from? Actually, on second thought, don't tell me. Can't you magically send it to him yourself? I'll do it, but...
He looked tired. Maybe Rimuru was asking one too many casual favors.
Sorry about that, thanks.
Sure thing, Sir Rimuru.
Oh, and Milam's coming, too.
Rimuru felt it best to be just as casual with that bombshell as Fuse took the envelope.
Milam? Oh no.
Okay, see you there.
With a smile, Rimuru half ran out from the office while Fuse shouted after him.
Wait, you don't mean that Milam, do you? Hey.
Let's just pretend I didn't hear. As Rimuru escaped from the guild building, a man leapt out from behind a corner at Rimuru, taking a respectful knee.
I, Gobeman, am here at your summons, Sir Rimuru.
This man was one of the hobgoblins Rimuru named. Pretty ambitious guy. Rimuru thinks Rigger told him Gobeman and Datta were fighting for the vice-captain spot back when Rigger was running their village forces. Gobeman had the strength to back that drive, of course.
Hey, weren't you a lieutenant? You went to another unit after Datta started captaining the Goblin Riders, didn't you?
A lieutenant, in Tempest's armies, was an officer who could be assigned a unit to lead if needed. They didn't necessarily have one to lead, which meant that captains were naturally above them, but it was still a much higher rank than the sergeants leading teams of 5 to 10 people.
Yes, my lord. I was never one to serve below others, you see, so I thought I would work as an individual for now. Someday soon, I'd like to assemble my own direct command and lead a unit myself.
Sounds like he's got some real backbone. Gobeman gave up his chance at vice captain of the Goblin Riders because he didn't want to serve under Datta, after all, so Gobeman must have had some pretty high aspirations.
Do you? Well, keep up the good work. Now listen, Mjolmile's someone very important to me. I need you to keep him safe, without letting him notice, if possible. I think you could learn a lot from the way he sways people's minds. His financial acumen's enough to move the folks around him, but it's not just that. Think of it as a case study while you're guarding him.
Yes, sir. I will keep that in mind as I execute my duty.
Gobeman was up for it. The way Benimaru described him, Gobeman tended to rely too much on his own abilities, downplaying the strengths of the people below or alongside him. That's one reason Gobeman failed to reach captain, despite being much more physically gifted than Datta. If Gobeman could learn to be more of a team player, that captain's job could be his before long. Rimuru hoped Gobeman could grow into the rank.
If you can carry this out and learn something from it, report back to me afterward. I'll give you this katana of mine as a reward.
Kurobe had contacted Rimuru earlier to report that his personal sword was complete. Rimuru wouldn't need this one any longer. It was just a temporary weapon, but it was synced up with his aura well enough that he liked the results he got from it. Rimuru brought it in for maintenance after the Hinata battle, but Kurobe was pretty impressed by what he saw. Rimuru figured it was a nice enough carrot to dangle. Gobemon's eyes opened wide with excitement.
You will?
Sure, I think you're gifted enough to make use of this. But stay diligent, alright? Prove to me you deserve it.
Yes, sir. I will live up to your expectations.
He immediately went into Mjolmile guard duty mode. That was almost too sly of Rimuru, offering that sword to him, but hopefully Rimuru got his point across. You had to earn the trust of your subordinates. Like how people used to think about obligation and duty, if you didn't look out for and provide service to each other, it would wreck the whole master-servant relationship. Rimuru knows he's not exactly a stellar example of the ideal boss, but still, Rimuru hoped Gobeman would answer his call in his own way. Rimuru had now distributed all his invitations. Now they just had to prepare for the big day. It needed to be a festival like none before. As he thought over everything they needed for it, Rimuru could already feel his heart racing.
That's it for this video, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you will never miss the upcoming continuation of Tensura spoiler video series. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the top 10 commenters on my previous video. Shout out to Ashley Lobo, Michael, Diablo, Luke Devilox, Farhana Faroukwi, 04 Sarang, Autistic Lemur 420, Arun Kumar, Nathan Keishing, Dhruv Goshi, Cesa Limbu, Shan, Hera, Abel Brilliant, Ral the Great, and last but not the least, shout out to Kawan Shuan. I'll see you guys in the next video.